Just a couple hours ago, the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG and EU pages both updated the tournament policy document recently, and there is quite a lot to go over. So what are we going to be talking about? So a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about, well, this is a new version update. It's being the version 2.3, which is in effect of September 20th. So they got this done just a few days ago. And let's talk about some of these changes. So first off, we're going to be heading all the way down to the life points right here. Calculators may not be used to track life points, and you may use a calculator or the Neuron app to assist with the math involved in adding or subtracting life point total, but you must keep a paper record of all life point changes to help resolve any disputes. So that got changed a little because now they're specifying it more. Then we go down to Neuron. During a match, duelists must turn off Neuron sound effects and music, which we already knew that. After that, let's go and talk about the one of the best changes. So deck lists submitted online. Now, events offering online registration. Events with online registration may require deck lists to be submitted using an online deck list system. You can check the FAQs or contact the TO. Deck lists submitted online may be updated and resubmitted before the deadline for deck list submission. You must still meet all deck list submission deadlines specified for the event. You may not submit a new deck list for any other reason. So think of it like a new ban list comes out, a new set comes out, a new whatever comes out. You can edit it whenever you want, but you still must meet the deadlines for the specific event, which is probably the day before the event or probably the day of. But this is a really good change because it makes it where people who wants to make last minute changes can finally make those last minute changes instead of just being, oh, here's my deck list and there you go. I really like it because it does, this was one of the things that people really did not like that they couldn't do. They couldn't change their deck list if they had a slight change that they wanted to do, but overall, it's definitely better. Once a deck list has been submitted, it may not be altered or changed, but this is in-person registration, which is absolutely fine. For online registration, you can have the option to update and resubmit it. Next up on the list, the information printed on any card is always public knowledge. And this is a new public knowledge update. So duels may not refuse to answer questions about information that is public knowledge. Lying about or refusing to answer questions about information that is public knowledge may result in a disqualification penalty. Information printed on any card is always public knowledge. If a duelist has a question regarding the printed information on a card that is not currently public knowledge, they should use the offline card database search in Neuron to look up the information if they do not disrupt the pace of the game by doing so. So at a case tournament I went to, I actually used this to look at the Tempai Dragon attack and defense stats. So if I knew if I could side in something like King Tiger Wengu, which it does not work. So I really like that they updated that and changed it so people know that, hey, you can use it as long as it does not disrupt the pace of the game. So it does come up once in a while, and it does come up for sure. So far, so good, because we have offline card database searches are now allowed to be done on Neuron. We have gained a being able to change your deck lists for online registration, and this one, it is now required to use the offline card database of Neuron to look up information on cards that isn't currently public knowledge. Instead of asking a judge, this cannot be done by players for no reason in an attempt to stall. It must be done in a way that does not disrupt the pace of the game, which I really do like. Now, another big one, this includes sharing. So the privilege information part updated once again. Now, we had this for a while. We have persons who publicize privileged information, such as set content, card spoilers, etc., for KDE US brand before such information is officially released to the public, may incur penalties, including suspensions from participation in organized play and or removal as an OTS. This includes sharing or reposting privileged information. It is not restricted to the original sources. So you have to be very, very careful with privileged information. So if something gets leaked from like a YouTube video, you can be hit with a suspension. So if we seen like in the past multiple YouTubers who had privileged information, their video accidentally leaked, oh, they get suspended. Or worse. But being in possession of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card games product before they are first released to the public, such as a core booster premiere event, or on the OTS release date for products without a premiere event, is considered publicizing private information. Any persons found to have such products who do not promptly notify KDE US are in violation of this policy. So literally it's saying if you post privileged information, you will get suspended or banned, and we could send people to investigate, because we had a incident with the Mimighoul fork where it got leaked out and they sent out a private investigator. So that was a fun time for quite a few people. Okay, next up is a very huge one. So foreign language cards. This is a huge one. TCG cards printed in English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, or Japanese are legal for play in sanctioned and official tournaments within all TCG territories, provided they have the TCG card back with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Logo in English. If you want to use a foreign language card, you must verify that cards was printed for the TCG and not the OCG. It is your responsibility to provide an accurate translation for cards that are not in the local language of the event. You may incur a penalty if you do not provide a translation or provide an incomplete or inaccurate translation. So what does this mean for the TCG card back for Japanese cards? So if we look at it for the card backings, this is one of the huge things. So you have the English card back here. So any card with this card backing is completely legal to use. So that means Asian English cards are actually able to use, which I really do like. And one of the best examples of this is Blackluster Soldiers. So the normal monster Blackluster Soldier. This has prints of in both Japanese and English, with the English card back and the Japanese card back, so that the English card back ones are legal to use, which is very, very cool. Now, on top of that, one of the things that I do want to note, there are a few sets that are legal to use in this style, which is Crimson Crisis for Asian English and Raging Battle for Asian English. Now, what cards are in here that definitely help that out? So let's just take a scroll real quick. We have things like Debris Dragon, because I'm just going to use the English set because it goes all the way down to 80. So you will have things like Debris Dragon that you can use, Trap Eater, also things like Blackwing Gale, the Whirlwind, Borrow the Spear, and realistically just a lot of nice cards. Now you could see you could tell by the moniker of the Crimson Crisis AE right down in the bottom or the middle right under the artwork, and there's just a lot of unique cards that we could finally use from Asian English. So you have things like Dupe Frog, because over there their rarities are different from ours, if I remember correctly. So like your Debris Dragon, of course, is a rare. I think it was Dupe Frog comes in a rare, and that is going to be nice for past formats and even current formats. You also have super rare Cosmic Fortress Golgar. Um, you have super rare Soroko the Dawn, super rare Big Core MK2, super rare Shining Silver Force, and just many other cards, like even super rare Forbidden Chalice. And I wish Wikipedia would have more images, but it is what they have, because old Asian English stuff, it's just super hard to come by. Like, this Red Dragon Archfiend Assault Mode is super rare to find, and that is one thing off of that. So what else do I need to note from this? Nothing really much, because this just means some Asian English cards and Japanese cards with the TCG backing are all legal to use. Now, overall, what do I think about these changes? They are really, really nice. Now, overall, it's removed links to suspended players list that is now private, so you can't find out who got banned or who got suspended. Offline card database searches are now allowed during a match in Neuron. Deck lists submitted online may now be updated and resubmitted before the deadline. You may use Neuron's offline card search to look up information on any card, even if that card is currently not public knowledge. Removed, you may not ask your opponent to concede to you, even if you do not offer any compensation. So, that's just common knowledge. Just don't ask people to concede, because they could happen to have a way to out your board. Being in possession of TCG products before public release is considered publicizing private information, and Japanese cards with the TCG backing in English Yu-Gi-Oh logo are now playable. So overall, it's definitely very interesting of a change, and I hope that the next one, they allow Asian English cards to be all used in both territories, because that would be a nice import market where we can have different rarities to certain cards. Now, the current Asian English cards, they currently use this card backing, which is a previous OCG card backing, but currently, I kind of wish we could still use OCG cards and also Korean cards for our decks, which, in my opinion, would be really, really nice. Having all regions being able to use any foreign language that you want, but having an actual translation for that card. But let me know what you think about these changes from the brand new policy document, because I think that was pretty much it on all the changes to note that I've seen so far. And overall, I'm really happy about it. These are very nice changes. And for the North American side, before I head off, there are no changes for what type of playmats, deck boxes, sleeves, and all the like. While EU, you cannot use anything that's not safe for work, and you must use things like a blank playmat, Spellground, or any official Konami merch. But let me know down in the comments below what you think of all these changes, and I'll see you all in the next video.